Good evening. Welcome back to Frugal Outdoors and myself, Dylan. We're out fishing again tonight. We're just into December, and after I posted that video about being able to catch bass in December and take them home, I thought it was only fitting really I should have a go myself. And I've never been fishing for bass in December. Like I said before, I don't know if anybody you knew. Some of you do, obviously. I haven't been fishing for very long. Maybe 4 years now, I think, since I moved to the island. I think we haven't actually been on the island for 4 years yet, so maybe 3.5 years seriously fishing. Yeah, so I've never had the opportunity to fish for a bass in December. So I'm going to give it a go tonight. My baits that I've got are not brilliant, I'm not going to lie. It's an old pack of mackerel that's in the freezer, and I've got 2-part bags of squid. What else have I got? And I think I've got some black lugs. So I'm going to have a little play for some other stuff, but I'm literally going to stick one rod out for bass all night on a running ledger, and then the other one I'm just going to muck around and see if I can't winkle something else out. So I'm at the mark, believe it or not. I'm sat right in the van, and I'm pretty much going to be fishing out at the back of the van. It's my local venue. Tides aren't brilliant. I think high tide is maybe 3 o'clock, so it's now 5, so it's already dropped for a couple of hours. But I'm just going to give it a go until about 10 and see if we can't get a fish. But yeah, let's get set up and then I'll bring you back. But it's cold, man. It's 4 degrees on the way down here, so I imagine it's going to get pretty close to freezing. It's super clear night. I can see stars up there already, so it is going to be a cold one. But I'll get my thermals on, get set up, and then let's see how we get on. Right, just quickly before I put this rig on, just wanted to show you, this is the bass rig that I'm going to be using tonight. So as you can see there, that's about 4 foot, it's only maybe 60-80 pound, 4 foot of a locked in lead slider. I don't know what you call them, they mainly use them in boat fishing, but so effectively I've got a locked in running ledger, so that can slide up and down, swivel on both ends. In fact, actually, it's got a clip on that end, one of those line clips. So that means I can unclip my trace, which is again is only about 70 centimeters of hook length. I can unclip that, clip another one on, baited, ready to go, just so I can speed up my fishing. And then I've always got a bait ready. Try to always have a bait ready, but it means I can unclip a fish if I've got a fish, or just a used bait, clip a fresh one on. But that today has got. There we go, it's a 5.0 wide gape hook and then a 4.0 circle hook on the top. So that's what we're using, hopefully to target a bass. And I'm not using a plain lead as such. I mean, it is a plain lead, it's got no grippers, but what I've done, I've taken a 4-ounce lead, 4 or 5-ounce lead, and I've smacked it with a hammer to flatten it out. There's quite a bit of swell that comes through here. I do want it to move around, and I don't want it to grip too much if a fish takes it, but I also want it to hook, because I am using circle hooks, so I need some sort of resistance there. So I'm hoping that will do the job, and then I don't have to use grippers. So let's get this on, get some bait on it. So before I get too carried away with baiting up, I've chopped up, as you can see there, half a mackerel. I'll use the other half of the mackerel, which is the head and guts part, for my bait. But that lot I'm going to chuck in the sea straight away now, try and get some scent in the water before I put my bait out there. Okay, so before I chuck that one out, I'll quickly just show you I've spooled up with £30 mono straight through. Just a little bit of a change up really. The next venue I'm fishing is a deep water snaggy venue, and after the last fiasco of losing a leader, I didn't really fancy retying one, so I've got those rigged up. It's filled right to the brim, look, so they're looking good. Obviously I'm using the 2 Daiwas again, and then there we go, that's that bait, look, ready to go out. It's quite a decent sized bait. Let's say I am going for a decent sized bass tonight. I did have a target in my mind for the year, and obviously I didn't come anywhere near that. I wanted to try and get a 5 or 6 pound bass this year. Came about 3.5 maybe. I think it was just under 4 pound. But obviously now having an extra month, it's like, right, do you know what, I've got to try and get out. So there is the next bait, the first bait even. Let's get it out. Right, and on the other side, I think at the moment I'm just going to start off with a Portsmouth loop rig. Just got a single 2.0 on the top, which is an O'Shaughnessy hook. It's just got a little glowy bead on there. It's quite a short snood, probably 40 centimeters. Obviously it's got the SRT spring there at the top, and then on the bottom, a little bit of a longer snood for the loop, hopefully to get us on the deck. Like I say, I mean, I've only fished here couple of times, 3 times, and I really should fish it a bit more. Like I say, it is my local mark, so I'm not massively in the knowledge of what comes out. I know bass come out of here. I've had rockling. I know it's quite a good venue for rockling. I know some good eels come out of here, bull huss, definitely chance of pout. I mean, those last pout that I had on my last little trip out were brilliant, so if I can get a couple of those I'd be chuffed. Yeah, what else? I mean, I don't think there's much chance of a ray. But yeah, we'll just chuck some bait out, we'll see what we get. Hopefully we get something. I'll be happy if I get a fish, to be honest. There we go, so that's that one. So that's got a little, on the bottom snood, it's actually pennelled up with a very, very small little 2.0 octopus beak hook. And another 2.0 O'Shaughnessy. They're quite small, those O'Shaughnessy hooks anyway. But like I say, if I don't get anything, or if I'm getting bites and I'm not hooking up, then I will reduce the hook size a little bit. Not massively, maybe to size 1/0s, 1s. But I don't know, I feel pretty confident there should be some pout at least out there. And there we go, that is the other bait. Look at that, it's all clipped up, ready to rock and roll. You can see the loop there, hence it's called a Portsmouth loop rig. Once that hits the bottom, that top snood will fly up, and this one will hit the deck and be nicely sat on the bottom. So a big chunk of squid there, and that's the squid head there. And like I say, I can muck around in a minute with some different baits, but let's just get this out. And there we go, we're fishing. See the rod tips? Yeah, you can see the rod tips. Perfect, like I say, I'm just literally just sat here. So with any luck, we can get a bite. I mean, it is absolutely crystal clear out there tonight. All the stars are showing. But I did think, I just thought I was right underneath Orion's belt then, but it's a big, big star down there, which is definitely not the North Star, because North is that way, and that star's down that way, so it could be the South Star even, maybe. Yeah, I'm just going to tighten into those just a tiny bit, and then hopefully bait will defrost in a little while. Get another couple of rigs ready. I'm not going to be massively match fishing style, but I do always like to get some rigs ready, just so as soon as I bring one in, I can chuck one straight out, just to maximise the bait in the water time. But yeah, fingers crossed we can get something. got something decent here. Straight away. Thought I was getting hit on the bass rod as well at the same time then. Oh, we got our first fish, don't I? That's a blank out of the way. Rods have only been in the water for about 5 minutes. Definitely looked like I had a pull down on that. There we go. It's no monster, but I'll take it. Like I say, it's a fish, and we're off the mark straight away. Let's get this one straight back in, get that bait back out there. And hopefully we can get into something a bit bigger. Oh yeah, brilliant. I was literally just baiting up and I looked up and then I saw the rod down. But there was some definite big pull downs on my left hand rod, which is the bass bait, and that's maybe only 10 yards out. That could have been the swell though. I must admit, it's quite strange fishing with mono again. I haven't fished with mono for such a long time. And you can really feel the stretch when you're reeling in with the weight of the fish. I mean, it wasn't a very big fish, but it felt like it was quite big because I could feel the line stretching. And I haven't fished with a 5-ounce gripper for quite, like proper fish with 5-ounce gripper for a while. So it's actually quite refreshing and I'm quite enjoying it. There we go. See the right hand rod there going? So it's only the same squid bait, so literally tightened them up a little bit and chucked them straight back out. But someone else is having a go. Such a nice night. Go on. Oh, well that is the bass bait on the left. That was a really, really good pull down on that bass bait then. It's always going to be difficult. I got this whole place lit right up. But I'm getting some bites. I've had a fish. If I don't get a bass, I don't get a bass. It's so difficult to get bass fishing on camera. I think we've got another conger here. One minute it was pulling, now it's not. Well, there we go. They're getting bigger, that's for sure. I don't know how big it is, I'm not going to weigh it. But all I know is, oh, he's got a big mouth. And he's bigger than the other one. There we go. Beauty. There we go. Let's get this one back in. Congers are out by the looks of it. Same rig, I don't know. Maybe 3 or 4 pound. I'd say I've got no idea. Well, I've literally just baited up a 2-hook flapper with size 1 hooks to try and get a pout. So maybe I will use that. Try and get a pout. If it's a small one, I'll use it for bait. But if there's congers out there, I don't want to be using tiny little 30 pound, 40 pound snoods, because they'll just bite me off straight away. At the moment, I think they're 60 or 80 pound rig body. We've got a pretty good chance of getting those in, but anyway, let's get another bait out. Right, so I've got another rig baited up. It's a loop rig again, but I've got black lug and squid on the bottom, and a squid head on the top. I haven't brought in that mackerel head from the start. I've had a few pulls on it. It might just be congers, but I'm going to have a look at it just to see what condition it's in, and yeah, maybe chuck a fresh one out as well. I don't know, something has been having a go, but that also could just be crabs, but there's definitely not enough of it to chuck it back out. So I've just got a piece of fillet out there now, with slightly smaller bait and slightly smaller hooks. But again, that's just that snood, so you can see I can just unclip that entire snood, that comes off, and then I've just clipped a new one on, but the new one might be a bit long, I'll see in a minute. If it's tangled, I'll have to shorten it. Just chucking out some bait then, and the rod's going. Yeah, I think it's conger again. Oh. Now that's just gone light. Now if it's a conger, I reckon I've probably got a hook missing. Go and have a look. So yeah, so I was saying that I reckon there'll be a hook missing, and sure enough, well, the bait's gone on the top anyway, and as you can see there, it's twisted that snood all the way down the line and no hook. So there's definitely congers out there, which means I need to change my game plan. Let's maybe see if we can't get a big one. So, at the moment, I'm chucking a multi-hook rig at distance, and then obviously I've got one closer in for a bass. I'm going to keep that one close in for a bass all night. I feel like I'm going to anyway, that could change. But that other one, like I say, it's got a loop rig on it at the moment. I might change that to a bigger rig, pulley, and whack out big whole squid bait. But yeah, this one is bin bound. Maybe that's what will happen tonight. I'll go for a PB conger. My PB conger is only about £8, just over £8. Might have had a bigger one, but I didn't weigh it. So in my head, unless it's weighed and it's weighed properly, you can't just go, well yeah, well I think that was about £12. Unless it's weighed, you don't know, so you can't claim it as a PB. In my view, anyway. So I think I'm going to chuck out some bigger baits out there. There's obviously some congers, there's 3 now. See if I can't get my biggest conger. Not entirely sure how I'll get it up, but we'll figure that out if we get one. Right, so this is the one I'm going to use on it. It's not, do you know what, it's not massive hooks. I've got bigger hooks on the bass bait, to be honest. But I didn't really come out with this in mind, so this is kind of the biggest rig that I've got. I probably have got another one if I search deep enough, but hey ho. So again, probably about a metre of rig body, that's for the pulley. That's £80, and this is also £80, which again is probably, obviously just slightly less, so it clips in and it works as a pulley. I think on here I've got what looks like a 3/0 up tide hook. you know, the gold ones. There we go. It's not massive, but it's got quite a decent 3/0. That's a 3/0 semicircle, which is actually quite decent, and that's probably the hook that I'm going to get it on, to be honest. Those other two that I've landed have both been on the pennel. So, and like I say, this is quite a tough 80-pound line. So I've got quite a bit of faith in that. Not so much in that hook on the bottom. Like I say, this is more of just a general pulley rig for me. But let's put a bigger bait on. I think that one's going. Again, look at that. Oh, that's a good bite. Ooh, this one is a bit heavier. Yeah, there we go. I actually thought that one was going to be a bigger one, probably about the same size as the first one, and again perfectly lip hooked with the pennel. So I am going to chuck out a bigger bait, see if we can't get a bigger one of these. Cool, man. I was literally going to come over and show you. I've only baited up. I've only been fishing for maybe an hour. It's definitely night at the Congers. It's the most straps I've had in one night, that's for sure. Anyway, already for a while, you know. I know they're around, but I haven't really found many, to be honest. I've had the odd one, but I've been quite happy to have them, really, because if it's in a comp, you know, at least one of those has been over £3, I would have said. So yeah, it's points mean prizes. Right, I've lost the end of my bait elastic again. So there we go. Give us another couple of whips. So basically I've got a whole squid going out on that pulley. We'll whack it on now, chuck it out, see if we can get a bigger one. Right, quickly I'm going to bait up this, there we go, wait for it to focus. Bait up this mackerel head. Like I say, I'm using quite big hooks today. So it's a 5/0 wide mouth, bottom of the jaw, straight through the top of the mouth, like so. Don't know what's happening. I've got a feeling my lens keeps misting up. And then because it comes out the top of the head, I can then stick it straight in the fleshy part. Yeah, you can see it is fleshy part of the back right there. Look, and then I can pull that, so it's nice and proud out there, and then I whip that part on. There we go, so I'm whipping it on right around. Yeah, look, I can see it all being shiny on the lens. I'll have to wipe that. Whip loads on around the eye of the hook, and then, like I say, I've got a 4/0 circle which will go opposite way around, so in from then the top of the head through the bottom of the jaw. So you'll have both of them, one sitting one way, there we go, like that, and one sitting the other way. And let me clean that screen. Yeah, this should be a bit better. This is on that whole squid. I was just thinking I haven't had a bite for a little while. It's definitely got a bit of weight to it. Probably only, again, 3-4 pound conger, but it feels weighty. Then have a look. Wow, it's definitely the biggest conger of the session. Again, perfectly hooked on that panel. Right, let's get him unhooked and have a look. I am going to weigh this one. Yeah, I mean, my estimations of guessing weights is terrible. But we're going to weigh this, like I say. I don't think it is a PB, but I don't think it's going to be a million miles away, but I don't know. I'm going to go with £5.10. Not even close. £4.7. But there we go. It's a definite better one, and I'm certainly happy with it. Whoa. There we go. Right, let's get it back in and try and get another one. Yeah, big baits are the way to go. Yeah, I was literally just looking, just keeping an eye, and I thought, you know what, I'll change that. I haven't had a bite for a little, well, when I say a little while, probably 20 minutes. And there you go. So basically that rod, every cast I've had a conger on it. Bass rod, not a thing. But I'm going to freshen that one up as well, because I've got that other mackerel head to go out, so I'm going to chuck that out as well. Chuck that out, and hopefully we can get someone else. There we go. Oh. Smallest one of the night on the bass rod. Right, so we're about 2 hours in now. 2 hours, and it's quietened off a little bit. I've reeled in once now on that right hand rod to change a bait, and there wasn't a fish on it. I say fish, it's all been congers all night. Even on the bass rod I've had a conger, so. And that was the smallest one so far. But we've got some fresher ones out there now. Did have a small bite just a minute ago on the right hand rod. And I've got another big whole squid to go out on that pulley. That's all baited, ready to go. And I do need to now get another one ready for the bass rod. But yeah, 2 hours in. I'll probably give it another 2 hours. I'm only going to fish for about 4 hours tonight. But it's so clear, it's lovely. I mean, there is a little bit of wind, but because it's a northerly, so because I'm right behind the van, I'm really not getting touched by it at all. As you can see there, my cast, I'm literally just casting 5 yards over the other side of the wall, maybe 5 to 10. If it's hitting past 10, I'm reeling it in and pulling it in a bit closer. My thinking being, if there's bass there, they're going to be in the shallows, coming in and sweeping around. But like I say, the tide is fully on the ebb. I mean, I already got down here, it was already maybe a couple of hours in the ebb, so I mean, I'm probably going to be fishing till, give or take, low tide. But we've had some congers, we've had 5 straps. One of them, I don't know when it's a strap and when it's a conger. I'm assuming it's probably if it's a double. So it's all been strap congers. But it's been enjoyable so far. I just saw an amazing shooting star that burnt up as it came into our atmosphere. And yeah, I'll keep chucking out a few more baits and see if we can't get something else. So this is like a session of 2 halves at the moment. It is completely and utterly dead right now. Those rod tips have not moved for probably half an hour. At least half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. Which is normal anyway, in all honesty, for my fishing. But when you sort of come down and you're getting bites and fish every cast, you kind of think the whole session's going to go like it, but obviously there's definitely less water out there now. But I'm just trying to think of what I can do to try and maybe entice something. I've got a big bait out there at the moment. I've got a pulley bait, which is, not a pulley, sorry, a loop rig, which is baited, ready to go. But I mean, that whole squid's only been out there maybe 20 minutes. So I'm going to leave it another 5-10. And then I am going to change it up. I think the left-hand one is getting a little bit of crab activity because I'm getting some tiny little knocks. And I've got another head baited up, so I might chuck that over the side. And I can leave that in there for a little while then, and then if all else fails, I think I might just chuck a whole squid. I mean, at the end of the day, there's no mackerel out there right now, and I'm using mackerel as a main bait to try and catch a bass. And they're not going to be feeding on mackerel at the moment. So I've probably got the bait completely wrong. And I really should be using whole squid. So that's what I'll do to change that one. And then the other side, I think I'm just going to just keep fishing it as I was. I mean, it was working before. There's no reason why it shouldn't work again. See if we can't just winkle out one more fish. Right, here we go. So I've just baited up a whole squid, and what I've done is I've threaded the main hook in through the sort of tail of the squid, out one side, down an inch, all the way through, down an inch, all the way through, until I got down to the head. And then I've brought the hook through, got the head on there as well, but I've left that pretty free flowing. And all I've done is bound the area around where the hook point, eye of the hook is. And then I've put my circle hook at the top. So that's not going to go anywhere, but it looks a little bit more natural in the water. It's still got the wings out, you know, so it's not completely bound up. So basically, it will, hopefully, while it's rolling around out there, look a bit more like a natural squid. And maybe entice one of those winter bass. So I'm thinking I might have to make this a little bit of a some winter bass sessions, and keep getting out, keep trying to get one, because like I said, I've never fished for them in the winter, so it'd be quite nice to get out and hopefully try and get one. There we go, that is the last cast out. Well, I've still got quite a bit of time. I've probably got 40 minutes, so basically, because I haven't had a bite for quite a while, I've chucked some bigger baits out, got that whole squid out, and I've got a mackerel and squid wrap on the other one. And I can give them a little bit of a soak. There's definitely some crab activity, so I mean, I'll bring them in maybe 25 minutes. If I haven't had a bite, I'll reel them in 20-25 minutes, and then that'll be me done. But I'm always holding out hope that I might just get one more fish. Right, I'm going to bring this left-hand rod in anyway, start packing some stuff down. I'm going to leave that one on the right just a little bit longer. The bite stopped, it hasn't come back, but I'll give it another 5 minutes just in case. Well, scratch that idea, just for a laugh. I've lobbed that squid on the running ledger that way, and I'll give it 5-10 minutes just to give it a little soak, see what happens. You never know, might get lucky, get a last fish. Well, there we go, I'm all packed up. As it happens, I just lost that last rig, so I'm thinking maybe it was a conger. It's taking me into a bit of a hole out there. It's funny, we come down here in the summer, and when it's super clear, it is absolutely stunning. It's one of the nicest places you could possibly be. And it looks snaggy as when you're snorkeling around, there's rocks absolutely everywhere, and that's one of the first times. I mean, I've fished here a couple of times, I have lost rigs here before, but I'm always surprised that you don't lose more. I mean, I've fished in the middle of the beach once in a comp, I didn't lose anything at all, and I've swam out there and there's so many snags. Off the end here, yes, there's always a risk of losing 1 or 2 rigs, but that's the first one all night and it was the last cast, so I'm a little bit gutted. But we caught some fish. We came out with intention, definitely primary really was to try and get a bass, and we failed. Did get plenty of congers though, so I'm pretty chuffed about that. At least we caught some fish. I am going to keep going through the winter, I think, just trying to get out, trying to get a bass, just to see if I can do it. There's been a few comments on the last video, basically on the bass one, saying that it's really difficult to get one in the winter. So, and also there's a little, somebody's bet me that I won't get one until when is it, April? It'll be end of April, beginning of April that it starts again. So, but I'm going to keep trying anyway. Like I say, it's nice to be able to actually target something to eat. I mean, obviously a lot of people on the mainland can target codling and all that sort of stuff, and they do turn up here. I've never had one. I've seen one, but we'll give that a go as well, I think. So until the next one, please take care, stay safe, and maybe I'll see you out there. Cheers.